Back now to the Casey Anthony murder trial, taking plenty of twists and turns this week with emotional testimony from Casey's brother Lee and a bombshell from her mother, Cindy Anthony. Let's bring in our Fox News legal panel. Joy Jackson's a defense attorney, former prosecutor, and Vikki Ziegler is a civil attorney and adjunct professor at Fordham University. Good to see you both.
Good to see you.
All right, so obviously the defense here is not murder. It was an accident, terrible accident. She drowned on thus and such a date. Cindy Anthony takes the witness stand, the mother of the accused, the grandmother of the victim, and she says, well, I do remember about the time that I last saw her at our pool, in our home. The ladder was in a position that was strange, as if to suggest, hey, maybe it was an accidental drowning, but prosecutors would have none of it. Take a listen.
The picture of the ladder that you testified about, how heavy is that ladder?
I don't know the actual weight. I know I can't lift it with one hand. I have to use two hands to lift it.
You would agree that it is nothing that Kaylee would ever be capable of moving or manipulating on her own, correct?
Correct. She could not.
You would never permit Kaylee to be left home alone at your house?
Absolutely not.
You showed us photographs of Kaylee getting in and out of the pool. Did your daughter tell you that there was an accident involving the pool?
Objection, Judge, outside the scope.
No, ma'am.
In fact, she continued to assert to you after July 15th of 2008 that the child was kidnapped by a babysitter, correct?
That's correct.
Vikki Ziegler, pretty good cross-examination.
I think this prosecutor did an excellent job with what she actually had. I mean, this is a defense witness now, not a prosecution witness.
Right.
Obviously, nobody knows the details of the alleged defense's position. When did this child allegedly drown? The ladder is too heavy. The child could not even lift the ladder. When would this child drown if she was never left alone? It doesn't make sense. The opening statement from the defense just doesn't logically
Joey,
flow.
Where is the evidence of a drowning here? There really is no there, and George Anthony took the witness stand early on and said it didn't happen.
It's kind of tough, Greg. I'd love to argue with Vikki, but you know what? Today she certainly has a point. Listen, what the defense is doing, as you know, is what we defense attorneys do. You raise the specter of reasonable doubt, and you hope to goodness that it's enough to poke holes for them to say, you know what, we're not going to buy it. Look, when you look at Cindy Anthony's testimony, it's problematic not only because of the cross that you just showed. It's obviously there were holes there. But when you talk about, Greg, I went home and I did chloroform searches and I went back to work when it says that, my work records that is, that I was working. So what is she doing? She's a mother trying to protect her daughter, as mothers would do.
She could be looking at perjury or obstruction of justice. You know, you just don't know. All right, I want to move on. Lee Anthony, the brother of the accused, took the witness stand, and boy, there were a lot of tears. Take a look.
When Kaylee was born, did you go to the hospital to see your sister?
Regrettably, no, I did not.
And why didn't you go?
I was a little hurt. Just didn't want to be there.
What? Who were you angry with?
Objection. Relevance.
Sustain.
Why were you hurt?
Objection. Relevance.
Sustain.
Can you explain to us the reasoning behind why your actions?
Well, lots more tears, and he cries, he breaks down, and so forth. What's the point of this, Vikki? To show that this is just a screwed up, dysfunctional family, and so it's understandable that Casey Anthony would have hidden from authorities and everybody an accident?
I think the grandeur, the implication that this is such a dysfunctional family that perhaps there was this strange relationship between Casey and Lee. He didn't know she was pregnant when he found out. No one talked about it in the household. Just a strange dynamic. But I still, again, A plus B does not equal C. And I think we have to give these jurors more credit. They must be sitting there going, what is going on? What is Lee testifying about pregnancy and whether or not he went to a baby shower? It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. This is a homicide case. This is a death penalty case.
What do you think, Joe?
I mean, listen, If the issue is dysfunctionality in the family, and the issue is what the defense opened on, which is there was abuse here, Greg, George abused me, Lee abused me, my family abused me, you're going to hear, ladies and gentlemen, that she was abused.
Yeah.
Talk to him and focus on that. There's no evidence at all. You're asking issues about why you were so concerned, you didn't know she was pregnant. It's not probative, it's not relevant. I'm surprised it was allowed.
All right, let's play the videotape that the jurors saw inside the courtroom. And this is Kaylee and Casey playing together in happier days when she was alive. And the picture you see here is what appears to be a happy, loving mother who adores her baby. And there, of course, you see the defendant inside the courtroom watching it, tears flowing once again. This is to sort of, I suppose, Vikki, humanize the accused to suggest she couldn't possibly have murdered her child.
A loving mother, a woman, look how touching and playing with her child, kissing her, would never harm her. But you know what? Accidents happen, regardless of how they happen. And you know what? When you get a tattoo, regardless of your daughter dying by accident or intentionally, you don't go get a tattoo and go party 31 days later. So that's one of the huge issues that the prosecution, I think, tried to play. And they're going to try to catapult that.
Got to leave it at that. We're out of time. Joey Jackson, Vikki Ziegler, good to see you both. Thank you.
Pleasure, Greg.
All right.
Well, it is.